This is episode 16 of Pucks, Putts, and Properties. Danny, season 2. Took a little hiatus for summer. How was your summer?
It was great, buddy. How was yours?
Yeah, it was good. Busy with business, a couple trips, cottage time, and
Nice.
it was great. It was a nice balance of everything.
That's great. What episode are we now? Because what is it, 22 we got
16.
to get to? 16. Okay, we're getting
21. 90% of all podcasts don't make it to episode 21.
That's a fun fact. Yeah, we're almost there.
So a bit of a change in our format today. You're actually at home, and we've got our guest in studio, who is Sean Binkley, longtime mortgage broker here in Kingston with Dominion Lending. He's a father, mortgage broker, pilot, private lender. What am I missing, Sean?
I think he got it all.
Okay. World traveler.
You're modern day Tom Cruise.
World traveler, right? Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Jack of all trades, and what do they say?
Master of
none.
Anyway, a great mix. How did all these worlds come together for you?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. This is great. Love what you guys are doing. Enjoy working with the two of you, of course. Yeah, I've got 3 great adult children and 3 grandkids. They've done really well for themselves. Really proud of them. I became a mortgage broker back in 2001, 24 years almost. That makes me feel really old. But prior to that, I spent 10 years in the finance business with a company called Avco, and that really taught me a lot about difficult financing situations and how to assess risk on a lending file from application to collection. So that really helped me in my career, I think, to understand credit and lending. And as far as flying is concerned, that's something I took up about 10 years ago. My youngest son, Josh, had a real interest in flying. He was in cadets. Actually, he soloed an aircraft at 14. He made it to the front of the paper. Hey, this kid can't drive himself to the airport, but he can fly an aircraft. And the two of us took some ground school together. I ended up going on further with it, and I've been flying ever since and really enjoy it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll get into the finance. Sorry, do you say it finance or is it finance?
I call it finance.
Finance.
Americans call it finance.
Yeah. Tomato.
Yeah, finance. I'll call it whatever. Yeah. Before we get into that,
like process and process.
Right. Yeah. Potato. Yeah. Tell me about flying. So is there a certain limit to what you can fly, or as far as size and engines are concerned? How does that work?
Yes, size does matter. It's more about weight and how many passengers.
Sure.
Right now I have what's called a recreational permit. I started with ultralights, and the whole flying thing could be a 3-hour podcast in of itself. But I started with ultralights, and then I ended up upgrading my license to a recreational permit. So that allows me to fly most people will be familiar with a Cessna. That's often what people say. Oh, is it like a Cessna? I have a Tiger Grumman, similar engine to a Cessna 172. Except it has a sliding canopy and a low wing. So I'm limited to 1 passenger in daytime only and in good weather. And legally, I'm not allowed to fly into the U.S. unless I have a pilot with me that is qualified to do that. So in upgrading my license to a private pilot, you can fly a plane with up to, I believe it's 6 seats, 5 passengers, I think. 6, including yourself. And you can get night ratings. You're legally allowed to fly into the U.S. There's a procedure for that, but you can do it. And then you can get ratings like instrument rating and another ratings and upgrade to commercial. I'd never be commercial, but yeah. So it's really the weight of the aircraft. Nice. It's the stall speed. It's number of passengers. Yeah, it's been amazing, really challenging, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and Danny, Sean and I actually have talked about doing this podcast. You have an airstrip where your cottage is, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, we've talked about doing this podcast actually in the airplane. The logistics of that got a little tricky when we got down to it, but it would have been really cool to do that. And maybe we'll cut in some clips of flying on a future episode with Sean here, because we've been talking, I don't know, it's got to be 2 or 3 years now about getting me up in your plane, because that would be a lot of fun. I'm going to flip this back, taking the pilot aspect of this conversation into how you how you can relate the two from flying with your approach to risk and decision making, both in business and investing.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. With flying, we always have to prepare for a potential emergency. So as you're flying, you're thinking, would that be a good field to land in case I had an engine out or something? Well, there's only one engine, so in this plane. So you're thinking like that, and then if you do have an emergency, there's a checklist to go through. And so with it's a calculated risk flying, lending your own money, or looking at risk when it comes to a mortgage file. It's a calculated risk. Nothing is guaranteed. We know that whether you go into a commercial aircraft or general aviation, or something could happen. Gravity always wins. And sometimes people don't pay their mortgages. So it's really thinking about what do you do if that happens, and what process you have for that. Try to be calm about it and take the emotion out of it, and work your checklist or your process.
Yeah. Have you, not to get too deep into it, but have you seen on your end more delinquencies here in the last 6 months?
Yeah, real good question. In fact, I was talking to somebody yesterday about this that does private lending as well. So part of my business is private lending, working with private lenders that lend out their money to people, as well as a small group that I work with myself that lends money. But also, people I would know if they're behind. For the most part, my clients would call me and say, this is what's happening. Hey, I can't make my mortgage payments. And maybe that's a bank mortgage or a credit union mortgage or whatnot that I need to give them some advice on. I'm not seeing it from my client base, so to speak. Private lenders, I've heard from some that delinquencies are up a little bit. And I'm hearing overall in the mortgage market, although I've got a big conference to go to coming up in Ottawa this weekend, we'll know more about that. But I think they're up slightly. It's more on the unsecured credit, credit cards, lines of credits, loans where there's signs of some higher delinquencies happening there. But for the most part, Canadians want to stay in their houses. They're doing everything that they can. We've got a good, secure financial system. And last I heard, delinquencies are still below, 0.3%, which is pretty phenomenal. That's not to say that they can't happen. If somebody loses a job, and especially look at what happened, in COVID, where people they were overpaying for houses for quite some time, and there's been a correction to that, maybe a major overcorrection, but there's some people that are upside down on their properties, but they know, well, maybe I just need to stay there for a few more years for it to correct itself. So.
Yeah. So we're going to get into the bulk of the conversation here. That kind of segued into it a little bit, but the dumbest financial mistakes that you've seen with people, because you've seen it all. You've been in this industry for a long, long time. So what are those financial mistakes that you see that are the most common, that it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So if anybody out there has made these mistakes, I'm not saying you're dumb. Actually, these people might agree that they were dumb. They weren't the smartest decisions to make, but I would say overall, there's a few quick ones that I can throw at you. First one, I think you guys will like this one: shopping for a home without a solid pre-approval in place. And we're just talking to another realtor upstairs, and she was saying that, these people were told they had a pre-approval, and then the bank or whoever they were dealing with, once they bought a house, said, no, you're not approved. Well, am I approved or am I not approved? So that's no fault really of the home buyer, right? The client, but going out without any type of pre-approval, without talking to a mortgage broker, and there's some good bankers out there too, but experienced ones, but without talking to somebody first about your financial situation, what can you potentially afford? What type of house are they looking for? So it's making sure that it's not wasting anybody's time. They have a better ability to negotiate, I think, if they know there's a pre-approval in place, especially if it's somebody that is well known in the industry, and you can say, hey, they were talking with, Janie over at wherever. Oh yeah, Janie's been in the business for a long time. I know we're going to be good with this one. So, and I think the biggest thing is that it sets people up for disappointment. And buying a home is an emotional process, as you guys know. And nobody wants to find their dream home, put in the offer, go back and forth for a couple of weeks on this, spend money on a home inspection, spend money on a septic inspection, spend money on an appraisal, and then find out, no, you're not approved. So and that's still happening. I think most people are understanding, talk to somebody first, worry about the money first, and then buying the house later.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I want to touch on is we're not ever just approving the person. The house has to be approved also.
Exactly. Are you reading my notes?
Oh, okay. Great.
Good point though, Mark.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. So when you go for a pre-approval, there's a word called covenant. Covenant really is, how strong is this borrower? What is their risk level like to a lender? And that's their credit, their capacity to repay, their job stability, and their the debt service ratio, that type of thing. But a pre-approval, basically when somebody talks to me about a pre-approval, I say, you know what? You're not wasting your time. Here's your range. And that range could vary a little bit depending on what property taxes are on the house. If it becomes a condo, then that has to be used in the debt service ratio. But what we don't know is what you're buying. So there is no guarantee that you're going to be approved. But, I work on commission. My time is money, as yours is. Consumers' time is money. So, they want to be sure that they're good to go. But that house may have some challenges that they're buying. Maybe they're overpaying for the property and it has to be appraised. Maybe it's a unique property, something with a commercial component to it. Yeah, maybe it's on a registry that it was a meth house 10 years ago and CMHC has flagged it that they'll never lend on it again. And that's why a conditional offer with a financing condition is, right now, it's acceptable in this market, I think, in most cases, but will protect that buyer.
Yeah. Can I ask you about mortgage renewals? Because I've heard other people talk about how people are starting to renew their mortgage for houses that they bought during COVID time, being 21, 22, and they might not qualify right now for the house that they're in based on their score. Are you seeing that as well?
Oh, so people are concerned that when they come up for renewal, the lender will not renew them because they don't qualify anymore because the rates increase? No. Yes. And that's going to be really rare.
Okay.
That it'll happen.
So complete misconception then. Yeah.
It's a good point you bring up. And I do get calls from people and say, hey, my income went down a little bit and I know my rate's going to go from 2% to 4%. Are they going to approve me? So the standard, what we call an A mortgage, is a piece of paper that goes out. If you haven't had default problems with the mortgage, if you haven't had a bankruptcy since you got the mortgage, because some lenders will do a search on that or do a new credit check, but 99% of the time, if you're making your mortgage payment, you're going to get an offer. And when that offer comes through, sure, you want to run it by your mortgage broker. Is this a good offer? Can you get a better rate somewhere else? But if they can't take it somewhere else, then most times the lender's just going to renew that. It's a signature back. You don't have to provide any income, and it just gets renewed.
Nice.
What misconceptions would you like to clarify to the general public about mortgages?
Yeah, well, that was a good one. I've got some more stupid
let's
moves
go.
too.
Yeah.
Which is also a misconception, right?
Yeah.
I like this one. Taking credit advice from a used car salesperson. So you'll see as you're driving along and hey, reestablish your credit. Buy a car. With what they don't say is that you're buying a car that you probably don't need, and that interest rate's 24% because your credit was bad before. Talk to a professional about credit, not a person that wants to make a commission from selling a car.
Because that could be something that could hold up a sale. Am I correct in this? Like if you went firm on a deal and then all of a sudden you went and bought a car like the next week and it doesn't close for like 7 weeks.
That's a good segue to that one too. So on the car aspect, yes, we remind people that your mortgage is approved. You can waive your financing condition. Don't go and buy anything. Well, I'm going to go into Leon's or the Brick and get the keys, get in there. Don't buy a car. I did have a guy, I don't know, 20 years ago. I remember it clearly. And we signed the mortgage document, or what we call a commitment signing package, before it actually closes at the lawyers.
Right.
And he says, "Oh yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. You want to come and see my new truck?"
Mm-mm.
Your new truck? What do you mean your new truck? I said, "Does it sleep 4 comfortably?" Because he said, "No." So actually the lender did do another credit bureau before closing on that one. And I have a fiduciary duty to disclose that. I don't remember at the time whether I disclosed to the lender or they found out, but he had to get his father to take out a loan to pay that loan off, and scrambling last minute. So because he had a truck loan of $800, that would not qualify him for a mortgage. A couple other quick ones. You guys have probably seen it. People that finance HVAC systems.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name the companies, but they're out there and they're big ones. Even if, I've seen people that owe $40,000, and someone, it was a service tech that, okay, there's good service techs out there, but they make a commission by upselling people, and you get a new furnace and a new air conditioner and a new water heater. And we're going to throw in a water. Now they do water softening too, right? Because city water needs to be purified. Since when? And anyway, and for only $199 per month.
that's
for
not
the
bad.
next 15 years, right?
Not
So
a bad deal.
Now, the nice thing, the Ontario government has disallowed what's called NOSIs, or notice of security interest, where they register on title, but there's still going to be some of those registered on title, like a mortgage or lien, prior to 2024.
Right.
And these are people that are stuck in contracts. They get it paid out because nobody buying a house wants to take that over. So quick example, a water heater. You can go to Home Depot and buy a water heater for $1,000.
Yeah.
They're good for 10 years. Every hot water heater really is only good for 12 years, something like that, guys. I don't know. But and what's the average rental on a hot water tank? $60 a month.
Yeah.
It's a scam.
You paid for one in 1 year. Now they'll say, yeah, but service is included with that.
Yeah.
It's an electric hot water heater. What can go wrong with
Just
this,
replace
right?
it. You'll be far better off.
You could buy a brand new
Yeah.
one every year.
Yeah.
So those are some things to be aware of. And then the other quick one too, not to, I've got a whole list of dumb financial moves, but really things to consider. If you're self-employed, which we all are, not filing taxes on time, not keeping records, keep electronic records too. Keep them of your notice of assessments, your T1 generals. You're going to need that when you want financing. And then, keep monitor your credit score. There's a lot of identity theft out there. And unless you're keeping an eye on it, most banks have a free service when you log in. You can get that through TransUnion. There's data breaches all the time, so you want to be monitoring that and just making sure that that you're paying things on time. So I've got a lot more, but those are the top ones.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Can you tell our listeners or our audience anything that you're coming into right now that you're finding, or anything that you probably foresee in the future that you're going to run into, that you're preparing yourself for in this industry?
Ooh.
Well, I know that's a loaded question, but there's things that we're preparing for, and there's things that we're dealing with right now that, just like the weather changes, right?
Yeah, when I'm underwriting, I think I'm being, as a lot of people are right now, are being a little cautious. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in the market. We know why. And people are being cautious. But with that, I think also lends itself to opportunities. So if people are standing by the sidelines and some people can't, get what they thought for their homes, is it a good time to buy right now? Maybe there are opportunities out there. So yeah, as somebody that helps people evaluate an application, whether they should be lending money on it, I am telling some lenders to be a little cautious. Maybe you don't want to lend on a condo in Toronto right now.
Mhm.
You've been in this for over 20 years, so you know, like, real estate is cyclical, and eventually everything comes back, right? So this is nothing new when we're in a downturn. Like, well, yeah, we were kind of due for it, right, in 22. Can you talk about like the ones that you've been through before on that?
Yeah. I think, if we go back even the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, doing a flip on a property, it's not going to be worth it to do it, especially during COVID when prices were so high and people were overpaying for houses. Some were, not everybody. But, that's one example where there could be flip opportunities for people right now. Buy a house for 400, 500,000. You can still get a house in Kingston for that is probably really tired, needs some work. And maybe it's not the conventional flip that you're going to get done in 30 days and then resell, because sometimes that doesn't work because you're taxed on all of that income.
Mhm.
But if you're going to be there as a young couple buying a property, maybe some people have to get back into, yeah, you buy a house that's so that you don't like the shag carpeting and the pink toilet, but it's going to take some time to do that. And over the next year or two, you do it and you're going to make some money and add value to your net worth. So I think
Nice.
there's opportunity there for sure. I think for
Yeah.
lenders, there's opportunity right now
Yep.
because there are a lot of lenders that are being cautious, maybe not lending as much as they used to be lending as far as loan to value on the property. So that could be some opportunity, but there's risk with that as well.
Fair.
Let's talk about different types of mortgages right now. You're active in the private space as well as, your A, B, like your prime lenders. Can you explain the differences and when people should consider, going private on a mortgage?
A mortgage broker will deal with different lenders, whereas a bank, you're dealing with the bank's money. So in our business, we have what's called an A, B, and a C deal. An A deal is somebody that can get a mortgage at a bank, credit union. We have a lot of choice with that. And with a B or C deal, a B deal might be a lender that can, I don't know, not bend the rules, so to speak, but they're more forgiving on certain things. But they still have rules to follow. Whereas a private lender is looking at a file and says, does this make sense? That doesn't happen certainly in the bank world anymore, because everything is throw it into a computer and, well, it's out of the guideline. Well, then we can't do it. Whereas a private lender will look at it and say, does this make sense? So there are often times where people will need a private mortgage, and certainly that's how we as brokers make money. But you want to make sure that you're not indebted to a private lender for a long period of time, that it's a temporary situation. I've even had to use private lenders before for certain projects. And yeah, it costs more than borrowing at a regular institution. But if you're making money on the project at the end of the day, the rate is not as important as how long is this going to be in place for. So there's situations like maybe somebody that had something happen in their life to cause some credit issues, and they got into too much debt. Maybe some things within their control, not in their control, doesn't really matter. But maybe they're taking out a second mortgage to consolidate that into one payment, lower rate, lower payment, much easier to manage than 7 different payments. But there needs to be an exit strategy, not only for you as the borrower, but also for the lender. They don't want they want to get their money back, lend it out to somebody else, and be happy that they were able to help your situation. So
Yeah.
it's really about the exit strategy for you. If it's I have unfortunately seen situations where people get in with a private lender and then they're coming to someone like me and saying, hey, can you pay this private lender? Because they want their money back. I paid everything on time, but I want my money back. Or they want their money back, rather. And for another private lender to pay off an existing mortgage with a private lender, it's just too much of a red flag for them. And it's like, this is a cycle that should they really be owning a house at this point? And, one of the misconceptions, and I don't know if you guys are going to slap me for it, is that I think a financial misconception for people is that they think that they have to buy a house. And home ownership is not for everybody.
Mhm.
I'm sure you guys have had clients where it's like, yeah, you might think so that just because your mortgage payment is going to be, the same as your rent payment, then you should be owning the house. But, they don't have any contingency for roof repairs or insurance or property taxes or whatever else comes with that. So I digress a little bit, but hopefully that answers your question.
You're spot on. It depends on your age, income, like your life situation. There's a whole different factors that, yeah, sometimes it makes more sense to rent based on life uncertainty, right? So
sure.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. A lot of mortgage talk, a lot of numbers talk. Shall we talk about, some current events going on right now? First and foremost, Canada Post. I've been waiting on a ton of stuff right now. I'm sure everybody else is. Can you guys talk about anything you've been waiting from Canada Post?
Danny just brings this one up because he's tired of me sitting on the fence on a topic. Because I do have an opinion on this one. I do have an opinion on this one
in my life, and I don't think I've met another person that likes to waffle more than Mark. So, and listen, I think the only topic that he's not waffling.
I'm fair to everyone except with this topic. Okay,
let's hear it. Can't wait.
All right, so it should have been treated like a business. Canada Post should have been treated like a business. And I just feel that they did not adapt over time. We're losing $10 million a day. This is our money, guys. Like,
it's government money, right? Or sorry, taxpayers' dollars.
It's taxpayers' dollars, if I'm not wrong. Like, something needs to change. Door-to-door delivery, in my opinion, must cost a fortune. Where I live, I'm in the Kingston Township, extreme west end of Kingston. We have one of those things where the postman delivers a block of houses all in the one thing, and we have to walk, I don't know, 100 yards to go get our mail. It's no big deal. I should be walking a bit more anyway. Like, if we had that everywhere and it wasn't door-to-door delivery, like, it's probably too far gone to make these changes now, but like, I just feel like there could have been cutbacks. And I know we might be pissing some union people off with this opinion, but I feel like it could have been saved, and perhaps we're too far down the line now to, save Canada Post as in some sort of resemblance that we know it. Anyway, that's my opinion. There, I made a stance on something, Danny.
I'm a little confused, I guess, because it's a government business, or you said it's not a business; it's a government entity, and they're
Crown Corporation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Crown Corporation,
and obviously it's they're striking about money. They're not getting paid enough, and they haven't gotten enough raises. I'm assuming.
I don't know if that's just the case. There's probably some other things that they're negotiating. However,
because I feel like we have strikes like every other month between train workers and teachers, and like you name it, right? We're always striking for some reason. But can you remember the longest one we've ever had for as far as like unionized workers?
Oh,
no idea.
No, you got me there. I remember back when I was going to school that there was a teacher strike that was at least a week or two.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, when Mark was talking to me, I said, "Oh, I think I'm going to avoid answering that one." But
I ripped the Band-Aid off for everyone. Okay,
but I, myself, man, look at the Sears in the Bay. What happened to them? They didn't change, and they're gone.
Yeah,
I don't understand for the life of me why we have 5 times a week, every day mail delivery. I don't know about you guys, but now I do know. Sorry, my son runs a business on Etsy, 3D printing stuff, and it's affected him because he's but he can use Pure Later or something else, right? But it's affected things, and I know that there's more to it, but I think most people, maybe I say our age, but you guys are younger than me. I don't get bills anymore in the mail.
Yeah.
Why do I need 5-day delivery?
Yeah. I was going to say, when's the last time someone got a piece of like a mail and actually used a letter?
You're either getting our MP's newsletter on telling us what a great job he's doing, which I just throw in the recycling anyway, or or the Canadian Tire fly. Now, if it's the Princess Auto flyer, I will look at that. But but you can get all that stuff online. I don't get it. I think, and maybe we try and look for simple answers, right? I don't understand why Canada or Service Canada is not somehow combined with Canada Post
or Amazon, because they're still at my door every day. My wife's still ordering. Still,
that's a friend of mine said he had to do
right.
Yeah,
come to the door.
Yeah, a friend of mine said he had to. His wife, the police showed up at the door because Amazon was doing a welfare check on his wife. She hadn't had a delivery in a day, but so that can work with husbands too.
Yes, it does. Yeah, we're not gender stereotyping.
Anyway, I don't know on the Canada Post.
Do you guys see this thing? I forget what the meeting was between Trump and Carney lately. Did you see that hot mic bit where Trump referred to Carney as president of Canada? And Hot Mike picked him up going back to the podium and said, "Hey, thanks for the upgrade of calling me president." And then Trump said, "Hey, at least I didn't call you governor." Did you guys see that?
Are you sure it's not AI driven? Because
now, it was real.
Okay, because I'm seeing a ton of stuff.
I don't know whether to be terrified or happy that they're getting along as well as they are.
I don't know what we can believe, because what we see on that TV and what's actually going on, I don't think we know.
We no, absolutely not. But they, in public, they seem to be getting along quite well. Anyways, we should probably jump off this one.
Yeah, 100%. Stay away from that conversation altogether.
All right. Game 3 of the ALCS coming up tonight. The Jays are probably, by the time this airs, Game 3 will have concluded. They're headed to Seattle for Game 3, down 0-2. This is looking really tough for the Jays. Danny, I know you're not a big baseball guy. Sean, you watch a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'll be watching tonight, but it's really disappointing. It's like they're asleep, man.
Yeah.
I blame this every time the Leafs are invited into that building, and I said, don't do it. And then what happens? The Jays lose.
Yeah.
So I blame it on the Leafs.
They look so good in that series.
But they're so out of it. It's like they lost the fire or something. So hopefully they get it back tonight.
Yeah. You watching it all, Danny?
Not that much. Only just over the Thanksgiving, because we're hosting, and it's a great little. I couldn't say it's a pastime, but you can watch baseball and not really pay attention to it the way, other faster moving sports. And it's not a knock on the game, like it's just kind of the way it's been. But
you're off, like when we talk in private, you crap all over baseball.
The playoffs are the best time to watch baseball. Like 162 games. Uncle, you play 162 games of anything in 1 year. That's a lot. But I love that the Toronto's in it. Like, I love what it does to the city around us, and because there's only one team really, right, in Canada. So I love that.
Yeah, I've got an interesting question for you. I'm really curious to hear this response. Every time that a baseball team either makes the playoffs, advances to the next round, they have this massive celebration where they put the plastic up in the locker room, they get the champagne going. Like, I feel like you don't see that in hockey. Am I correct?
Well, not after every round, the way those buffoons do. Like, they'll have a few beers at the bar, like,
right,
6 to 8 beers after a round, and then have a day off, and then they're right back at it. But these guys seem like they go so hard. Like, they got the champagne bottles, and
and this isn't a knock on the Jays, because I think every team does it. It seems like the job's not done. Like, I get it. It's a long year. You've made the playoffs, but like, the job's not done.
I agree. You know what? I was saying that to somebody. It's like, over the last few years, and first of all, it's like, well, let's get the goggles on.
Yeah.
And why don't we put on our hazmat suit and cover everything with plastic?
Yeah.
So, because we don't want to get wet, but we're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
And I get the concept of celebrating small wins, but I think it's overkill.
Yeah.
It's got to be in their contract somewhere with Budweiser that you have to celebrate, each time, right? but I think it's got out of hand myself personally. And also I don't know. I mean, hey, I like to have a few beer, but a lot of kids are watching, right?
Yeah.
And, let's celebrate with pouring beer and champagne over everybody for every single round. I don't know.
And
When is somebody going to take a stand and say, wait, we'll celebrate when we're done because the job's not done yet?
Yeah. And Hazel coming, hey, we're live on Sportsnet. And then they start dropping F-bombs all over the place. Oh, I guess you missed that I wasn't live on sports.
That doesn't get old. I can tell you that. That does not get old.
It's funny. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Debbie Downer on that, but
talk to me about the pitching in game 1 and 2, because isn't that like the hallmark right now of Blue Jays baseball? Is like
actually this team is just what they'll be known for is everyone contributing.
Gotcha.
Starting rotation has been okay. Bullpen just seems to be such a wild card. Like they've had a couple bullpen games recently where the bullpen has been dominant. That's where you don't start a starting pitcher. The relief pitchers like take the game, and there's been a couple games where they've been phenomenal, but it's just you don't know what you're getting day in and day out of that bullpen. Like it's unpredictable. The depth in that team is really cool. Like you've got your batters in the bottom end of that batting lineup that have been really, really strong contributors, which is really cool for a team that's going on a playoff run. But their bats have gone cold and the pitching's not been phenomenal these first 2 games. Like you add that up and here you are down 0-2 without it even being competitive. So there needs to be a change. And in baseball, Danny, these next 3 games are all in Seattle.
Yes.
So in order to have any sort of a chance, they need to take 2 of 3 out of Seattle.
Which actually I'd love to see that implemented with hockey. Like if you're playing like LA and New York and you're going game 5 in New York, then LA game 6, and then get back to like uncle on the travel, I'm sure. Right. Like that makes way more logistical sense. Especially in a 7-game series.
What would a hockey season look like for the players if it were extended beyond 100 games in a season?
Oh, it's almost 10 months, right?
Well, I mean, if you had played 5 of 7 games in a week, like how badly would your body be banged up?
Yeah, I mean, it's better now. Like the NHL, it's they have it obviously pretty good. It's so much better because they get all the data too with their bodies, so they'll know exactly how many calories they lost. They'll know exactly how much sleep they got. Not only how much sleep, but the quality of sleep, so they can measure that now. So it's like your sleep is measured in 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 being the deepest quality of sleep, and all their travel is scheduled around your sleep and nutrition. So it's like they really have this thing down to a science now. So it is certainly not the same as like 80s, 90s, and certainly where I was playing. So
smoking cigarettes during intermission.
I missed that, but I certainly know guys that did that. I think the last one was Sergei Zubov, and I don't know if anyone's remembers that name, but he finished his career in Dallas. But he had a few. I played against him in the KHL, but never played with him. But yeah, he'd be smoking cigarettes.
Was he still smoking when you played in the K with him?
Yes, yeah, and I heard that Makarov too, Andrei Makarov, played for the Habs too. He was same. It's a generation. Like if you did it when you were a kid and that's all you know, like you can't get out of it, especially when you dominate the game that way, right? So
smoke him if you got him.
Yeah. Can we talk about Vladimir Guerrero, how he needs to learn how to speak English?
He's better than he was. Interestingly enough, I don't know if you know this, he's actually dual citizenship. He was born in Canada.
Well, his dad played, right?
Yeah, he played for the Expos. Yeah. I mean, so many baseball players that we could say this about, but yeah, it would be great if he doesn't. I think
he's trying.
Yeah,
he's really trying.
He is trying. Okay.
Because it doesn't seem that he needs the interpreter. I think if he just got rid of that interpreter, I think he'd probably develop better.
I think there's been quite a few times now without the interpreter, right?
I like him though.
He
He's
speaks better English than I speak Spanish.
That's true.
He looks like he's got great energy. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
whether he speaks English or not, he'd be like a good
Yeah.
time to be around, right?
Well, the other thing that has happened to the Jays is that Bo Bichette went down, who was their best batter of the season, went down at the end of the regular season. So
and so fast.
Pardon me?
So fast, right? Running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a great batter. Good fielder, great batter. Yeah. Like I think he finished the year above 300 in batting average, and he hit quite a few home runs too. Anyway, so hopefully tonight goes better than it has been. Thing that's bothering me, and I don't want him to text me, is my brother just lives outside of Seattle, and he texted me a couple years ago when they were playing Seattle, and I'm absolutely dreading the thought of him texting me right now.
Why?
So he's cheering for Seattle?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, it's
based on the text I got a couple years ago, he might be. Yeah.
It's not like you're playing, Mark. It's not like he's on the other side.
I care, Danny. I care deeply.
It's not like he's playing first, you're playing third, and you guys are on base, and
Well, we'll all be cheering for Seattle if they move forward. Let's hope they
yes, we would.
Crash in there, right? So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Can we talk about him for a second? Like,
yeah, he's pitching great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
I think he did great the other night, and I don't follow him that much, but he's from Kingston, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
so you could argue that if you were cheering for Seattle, you're actually more of a fan as Kingston kids.
Oh, here we go again. I got into this on the weekend with my brother-in-law.
Did you really say
how many Canadians are on the Jays? It's like, come on, man. I finally just said, you know what, you win.
It's true. Like all these Florida teams, like if you look at their roster, half of them are Canadian.
Right.
So it's like, oh, you'd love to see the Oilers win. I'm like, well, how many Canadians are actually on the Oilers? And it's like, there's actually more Canadians on the Panthers than there are the Oilers. So
yeah.
Anyway. With baseball, it's our Dominicans against your Dominicans.
Right. Yeah. Fair. We get a few Canadians on there and then everyone watches.
Yeah. There's actually 2 Canadians on the Mariners. I'm trying to remember.
First baseman, I think, is from Mississauga.
Yeah, he's from the GTA area. Yeah. It starts with a B, I think. Yeah. Anyways, let's finish off with a little rapid fire round. What's one financial habit you think everyone should start today?
That's pretty basic. Bring your lunch to work and don't buy coffee.
Just eat breakfast at home.
I got to follow that advice.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry, what's that, Danny?
But you're right. Like you drive by Tim Hortons in the morning. Like how long is that lineup in the morning? Like how hard is it to make coffee in the morning?
It's not hard, right?
It's not. You just start there.
Coffee today. Now I do like McDonald's dollar coffees, right? When they have that special, it is a better coffee in my opinion. But yeah, it's the latte factor, right? That we've all heard. Let's add it up. You're spending $5,000 a year on lunches and coffees. That's
your gas.
Great to go into saving for a down payment.
Right. There you go. Yeah, that's probably a good one. What else you got on that? Or sorry, next question, Mark. You rapid fire.
Okay, I'll finish her off. What's the worst piece of financial advice you've ever heard?
Bitcoin
from the used car salesman.
Yeah, I already kind of covered that, right? Getting credit reestablishment advice from somebody trying to sell you a car.
Let's talk about payday loans. Those things just seem absolutely horrendous to me.
Okay, that wasn't on the list, but that is good.
What about gambling? Gambling's got to be up there.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't know is that there's a criminal interest rate in Canada, which is also known commonly as loan sharking, but the technical term is usury. So that interest rate that you were legally allowed to charge was 60%, 60. So I could do a loan for you, charge you 59.99%, as long as it wasn't under 60, that's legal. Dumb for you to do that, but legal. The government actually, and I'll get to payday loans in a quick sec, but the government actually lowered that to 47%. That's quite a significant drop. Now, we all may think that was a great move, but there's certain finance companies that like there's several million Canadians don't have access to credit anymore because these finance companies that were lending in that space, like the Easy Loans, Fairstone, places like that, those people don't have access to credit anymore because it's just not in the cards for them to lend at that low of a rate. I know some people would say that's not a low rate, but based on their delinquency levels and everything, they can't make money. Anyway, payday loan companies are this carve out with the Ontario government under the Payday Loan Act. They can go over the usury rate. So there's a maximum they can charge. I believe it's now down to $15 per $100 per biweekly pay period, I believe. When you do the math on that, that's actually about 128% interest.
Oh my God.
128. It used to be in the 200s because they could charge admin fees and all of this on top of it. So it's been brought down. So, yeah, if there's somebody out there that's using a payday loan company on a regular basis, you really want to talk to a financial expert, or even talk to, there's great folks at BDO. They're bankruptcy trustees. Doesn't mean you have to go bankrupt, but they could give you some credit advice. There's credit counseling services available. But yeah, payday loan companies, there have been new rules set out, so they have dropped the rate. I believe municipally, is that in the municipality of Kingston and other municipalities, there's rules that, okay, you can't have two within, a certain distance of each other, because they tended to set up in areas where there would be people with, lower incomes, and maybe that were primarily, either the working poor, someone on a disability pension, limited incomes, and it was predatory for sure.
Yeah.
It just seems like you get caught in such a cycle with these.
You can now. I guess part of the rules are also, and I'm not an expert at this, but part of the rules that they cannot churn loans anymore.
Okay.
So if you got a payday loan, I can't give you another payday loan to pay off that payday loan
Right.
and then add more to it. You have to pay that one off first. But yeah, there are unfortunately some people that it's the only way they have access to credit. And again, it gets back to what I said before about private lending. If it's a temporary thing, brakes went on the car, and there's a lot of people out there living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have any family support, or they've used all that support and family can't give them any more money, then maybe it's an option, but it should only be very temporary.
Yeah. If you could give younger Sean one financial tip, what would it be?
Save your money. It's just, my younger Sean, I was just talking to someone about this. It would be, when I was 15, 16, my first job, and making some pretty good money at the time, right, in a restaurant. Man, if I had only bought $1,000 worth of Microsoft or Apple at the time, right?
Yeah, my God.
I don't know what the number is. I plugged it in once, and it's like multi-million dollars is what it was.
Yeah, we would never see you again, hey, Sean. Oh, or how? Can we talk about David Hatt?
Yeah.
David Hatt, 75 million. Come on.
Yes, I'm. Yeah, good for him.
Right.
I hope he doesn't have everyone banging on his door right now. I've talked to the guy maybe twice. There's no way I'm sending him a message or anything. It's like, good for you, man. I read an article. It looks like he's planning on doing some good things in our community with the money. That's great. Good for him. That's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I saw the article or the video, and it was like the first thing that came to mind was that he said, how can we help people in the community that need it? So unfortunately, everybody comes out of the woodwork, right? There are going to be some that would I love to call them and say, hey, listen, you got a couple $1 million you want to lend out and get X for a return, but it's like, I don't care if he does or not, right? But it's first of all, congrats and way to go. But I don't know him. I'm in the industry. I don't know him, and wish him well. And hopefully, he can give back. But it's interesting. There was another guy that won like 25 million or 35 million not long ago.
In Kingston?
Yeah. And then I just saw somebody else win $100,000. So I don't know if it's time to buy a lottery ticket or we've used up
Anyway,
Oliver Luck.
I hope it's not the. It should be the best thing that's ever happened to him. I hope it doesn't turn out to be the worst. That's what you don't want to see. With seems like he's a very good person, and wish him all the best. I hope he keeps his brokerage
100%.
open and he can. Yeah. Something about butter tarts with flying. Do I got that right?
Oh,
Your
yeah.
favorite flying destination?
So with pilots, we always talk about where's the best butter tart, or they talk
Seriously.
about the $100 hamburger. But or they'll search for. We'll talk about the Lindsay restaurant, airport restaurant, has a $6.99 breakfast, but you spend $150 in fuel to get there and back, right? So, but it is a thing in the pilot community that where are the best butter tarts to fly into? And the Lindsay Airport restaurant makes, in my opinion, and I think if you can, that's why the video is from here up, but if it was from here down, you could tell why I'm an expert in this field. They have the perfect butter tart. It's like a shortbread crust, just enough gooiness inside. Oh, that's where we got to go.
We're talking like Lindsay, the town beside Peterborough.
Correct. Yeah, yes. They have an airport there, and it's a nice airport. You fly in, you can have breakfast.
And sorry, what's it called again?
Butter tarts.
We're there a lot in minor hockey in Lindsay.
The airport restaurant.
Airport restaurant.
Yeah. You too can have a body like mine.
You're gonna have to work at it a bit, though.
All I got to do is just go to those Blue Jay parties, I guess. Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an out on this one because it is, if you could fly with anyone in history, who's your co-pilot? I'm going to give you one. This one's for Sean, and I'll give you one. This one's sentimental. So I'm thinking maybe someone in your family, like your
I would say, sentimental. I would say my father.
Yeah.
Nice.
We had a rough relationship toward the end. He passed away in 21. And we made amends before he, probably an hour before he passed away, unfortunately, but it did happen. So I never did get to go up with him. So I'd like to take him up.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
And then I think for fun, I don't know, that's a tough one. I was thinking, well, one of the Wright brothers. I don't know.
It's Amelia Earhart.
What about that? Was it BJ Cooper? Who's that?
Yeah. That was the guy that they never did find, right?
No, the guy that jumped out of the plane. Yeah.
What's his first? Was it RJ or BJ Cooper? I don't know.
RJ Cooper. Yeah, you're really close, Danny.
Yeah. Everybody
I listened
where it
to
is.
that story.
They still haven't found the guy.
Yeah, I've watched a documentary on that not long ago too, and it's cool. Awesome. They actually changed some of the safety stuff on airplanes just because of that story. Of that. Yeah,
that somebody that he can't just
jump out the back of the airplane. Yeah,
you having right? Oh, yeah. After having a few cigarettes and whiskeys on the plane. Unreal.
Time to go.
If only I could go back in time in the 80s. I was born in the wrong
smoking or non-smoking section. Yeah. Airplane. That's one of my favorite movies. I still laugh.
Yeah.
But then I like Dumb and Dumber and Naked Gun, the original.
Yeah.
Right.
Classics.
Those are classics.
But smoking on an airplane, it's really not that long ago that we allowed smoking.
In my airplane, all the old airplanes have ashtrays in them, right?
Oh, okay.
So could you imagine you're, I don't know, a foot away from this engine and your fuel tanks, and I need to light up a smoke while I'm on this half-hour flight. Yeah.
I love it.
You got anything else, Danny, or are we about to wrap her up here?
It's just nice to be back here on the pod. Sean,
yeah, it's been a minute, hey? Busy summer for us.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you started your coaching this year, hey?
Yes. Yeah, coaching. There's a lot more that goes into coaching that parents don't realize, and I was the first one. So to realize that after signing up for it, you lose relationships that you thought you had based on your decisions. It's been tough, but I'm having a ton of fun at practice. I can tell you, watching these kids compete against each other, it's so much fun. But there's a lot of headaches that go with it, but I really am enjoying it. I'm actually really enjoying that time too with Hudson, because I know that time is so limited. I feel like he's going to be out of the house before I know it. And obviously he's 12 now, but he's already hitting puberty. I'm like, oh God, how long do I have? Like, I've already spent more time with him now than I probably will ever have in my, like, the next life, which is actually really sad to think about. But but really enjoying this year. Really, it's been fun. There's a lot going on in minor hockey that I think I could, like, with flying. It's probably a 3-hour episode.
Well, we'll dabble a little bit more into that with future
it's
episodes. But I just wanted to introduce that.
It is, minor hockey is psychotic. I can tell you that. But
and you know, I got to say, good for you, because I mean, I coached a little bit. It wasn't rep, but in ball, and you know, it was nothing compared to you know, higher levels of sports. But it's such a time commitment, right? And there's a lot of coaches out there that give a lot of their time and resources, and not everybody wants that job.
But some of them do it for the wrong reasons, and I can see that. And for the ones that do it for the right ones, you know pretty quick. Anyway, but yeah, you're right. Like, I don't think they get enough credit. And
I called it a job. You're not getting paid, but
you're not getting. No, you're not. It's for me, it's a hobby right now. Even though I put enough hours into it that it could be a job. But
and you have so much to offer too, given your, you know, professional background and the resources. Like I couldn't imagine how many coaches that you have access to calling, where many wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Right.
That's probably been the best part of this whole journey, is, like, I feel like I've learned more in the last, you know, 2 months than I have in 10 years in hockey, because it's so much different now, trying to develop, like, the youth as opposed to just win. Because I've been in win mode for 16 years, where it's like, you need to win the next game. So all their practices are based on, well, let's train to win the next game, where it's kind of flipped in the minor hockey. It's like, well, you're in there to get better. Obviously, we'd love to win the next game, but is it the end of the world if you don't? It's not. So it's like, it's a different mentality, and the way everything's structured now, it's so much better. Hockey's in a better place for the people that are doing it right. But again, there's still the old school mentalities, just like everything else. It just takes time to change, and you always try to look at what other people are doing with the success that they've had. So
you'd have been competing to keep your crease too, hey? To stay in the crease?
Oh God, yeah. And this is what I'm saying. Like, compete is probably the best motivator, right? Like, competition. And this is what I'm finding. Like, you can't teach competitiveness in kids. They either have that or they don't, right? Like, you see it pretty quick on the ice, like, who actually wants to be there or not. Like, it's not, you can't fake it. And I don't care how much money daddy has in the stands. Like, you can tell pretty quick with which kids love that game or not. So it's enjoyed. I've really enjoyed the process on that part.
Yeah. That must have been difficult mindset to go into games knowing that you're competing to stay in the net too. Like, that must have, did that wear on you?
Grind. Yeah. No, mentally, physically. More so mentally, emotionally.
Right.
Especially as a goalie, because, as you know, you're always remembered for the ones that you gave up instead of the saves that you made, right?
Well, and there's only one of you, right? There's only one goalie that gets to go into that net to start the game.
2 per team, right? So it gets narrowed down pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
we'll wrap it up here with Sean. How can listeners connect with you, mortgage or investment side?
Well, you can go to my mortgage website is applyforamortgage.ca, and phone number is 531-HOME, 613-531-HOME. I used to have a jingle on the radio for that, years ago.
Yeah, we were talking about that. What was it again?
Want me to sing it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Tired of renting? Want a house of your own? Call today, 531-HOME.
Yeah. I think we got to end it there.
End on that one. Love it. Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on.
Okay, cheers, boys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Talk to you.
Danny, I hope you start feeling better. Thanks for sticking out this flu game here.
All right. We'll get into it again. We'll talk to you.
Have
Yeah.
a butter tart. It'll make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Butter
we
tart
will
and a
indeed.
Guinness.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay, well, that's episode 1 of season 2, or episode 16. 5 more episodes to go, and we've surpassed more than 90% of podcasts that ever start.
Love it.
Fun fact.
Very impressive.
That's Pucks, Putts, and Properties. Thanks to my co-host Danny Taylor. I'm Mark Strachan. We'll see you on the next one.